Hey guys, welcome. Okay, so today's yin practice. Hey Christina, just like old times. Hi Zaid. So today's practice, we're gonna do the lateral line, so side of the body, which, hi Jen, hey everyone. So we're gonna do lateral line. Grab You will want some pillows or props, so whether that's blocks, just make sure that you have a couple of things that you can stack. Hey, Kimmy. And we'll get started in just a little bit. Okay, let's get started. So for today's practice, we're gonna start laying in our backs. So if you need any props to get you comfortable there, you can place a pillow underneath your head, can be nice. You could always take a pillow underneath the backs of your knees. Okay. And just bring your left hand to your heart and right hand to your belly. Okay. And allow your eyes to close. And just begin to tap into the space around you. So maybe any of those external noises in the background. Maybe the temperature of your space, whether it's feeling a little bit cool against your skin or it's nice and cozy. You might even feel the tactile quality of your clothes brushing against the layers of your skin. And as you acknowledge your environment, where you've landed yourself, begin to acknowledge your internal environment. So allow your breath to be audible. You don't have to force it, but just maybe for the first time today or even this week, that you actually hear the sounds of your breath. It might feel nice to take a sigh out as you exhale. To just allow your body to sink into place. You might begin to bring some awareness to whether you're breathing through your nose or your mouth. And if you are breathing out through your mouth, it might be nice to just lick your lips gently. Allow your jaw to drape open, relaxing your tongue to the bottom of your jaw. And then with your hands placed where they are, just start to notice these internal rhythms. So the beat of your heart underneath your left palm. And the movement of your breath. So both your chest and your belly rising up as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, softening towards the earth and back through center. And so see if you can weave this experience together of the sounds of your breath, the feeling of airflow, and the movement of your body. And notice how even just in these first few minutes of your practice, that the external world has started to fade. That it's become less loud. It's not grabbing for your attention, gripping to the edges of your being. that you yourself are beginning to carve out space to just simply be here. And in doing so, you're carving out space for peace. For peace to land within, to saturate every cell of your being, and to remind you that amidst all of the distraction, the external noise, the worry, the fear, the you shoulds or you shouldn'ts, that even then there is room to just simply breathe, to feel the beat of your heart, the rise and fall of your breath, and to just tap into what this moment offers you. Let's just start out with a giant stretch. So you can begin to draw your arms overhead, pointing through the feet. Take a full breath in to lengthen from your fingers down to the tips of your toes. And as you exhale, keep that shape but just soften into place. Let your bones rest heavy. Let's take one more full breath just like that. Inhale to expand and reach, maybe even slight arc through the back. And then exhale, let your low back come a little bit closer to the ground. If you need another couple of breaths like that, just continue. Otherwise, you'll begin to curl in tight. Draw your knees into your chest, arms wrap around the tops of your shins, maybe backs of your hamstrings. You can just invite in some gentle movement, rocking side to side. Now, if you do have any props that were underneath your body, you can just move those off to the side during this transition. We're gonna move into Banana Asana. So once again, extend your legs out long, reach your arms overhead. As you inhale, take that full body stretch, and then as you exhale, begin to walk your heels over towards the right corner of your mat. Once your heels have landed in place, anchor through your hips, so your hips won't actually move, and then begin to slide your hands over to the top right corner. You might even walk your shoulders over as well. Now with Banana Asana, you're looking for that lengthening through the left side of the body as you slightly contract into the right side. And there's lots and lots of variations that you can take here. So there's the option to cross either ankle. If you cross your left ankle over top of the right, you're gonna feel a little bit more of that length through the lateral line, the outer edge of the body. If you cross your right ankle over your left, you might feel this more actually through the psoas and into more the core abdominal region, even in the front of your hip flexor. I actually really like the variation where you bend into the right knee, you plant your right foot onto the mat so that you're anchoring both of your hips to the mat. So you're not rolling to the right side, but you're keeping your entire body in the same plane and then just hinging over. So there's no twist through the spine. Options for the arms, you can wrap your right hand around your left wrist and draw over. You can reach for opposite elbows to create a square shape with your arms or a diamond shape. Really with the arms, just allowing your left hand to tip over. So even if your right hand is down beside your body, that can also just feel really nice. And then more so than trying to pull yourself into this shape, can you just simply breathe? To feel into the space of your breath. And let yourself sink into the exhales, into the space you created with the inhale. And just notice how you feel in this moment. I think so often we're looking for an answer outside of ourselves. We're looking for happiness, or we're looking for lightness, for joy, for peace. We're looking for connection. And I think what we forget is we already have all of these things. And yin is this really beautiful practice where you get to create space for those things to surface. So peace isn't found outside of the body. That all of those elements that create peace are actually something that we can create from within. So I always like to imagine when I'm trying to find a peaceful space, what it is that makes that idealistic place so peaceful, so calming and restorative. And I found that what it often is not so much about the physical space, but about what it offers us. So for me, it's being on an abandoned beach. The gentle rhythm of waves lapping against the shore. Cool breeze dancing against my skin. That there's just silence from around, which allows me to just tap into those subtleties of sounds. The smallest of moments becoming so much larger, so much more potent. That there's so much room to stretch out, to just laze around and just simply be without having to be accountable to anyone or anything. That we're able to smell the saltiness of the ocean. You can almost taste it. And I think ultimately what I end up describing is a place where we can just be mindful and present. And so here on your mat, see if you can find those rhythms, just like the waves of the ocean crashing against the shore. Maybe it's the ocean-like sound of your breath. Maybe it's the gentle rhythm of your heartbeat or your inhales and exhales. Maybe it's complete stillness and pause, that moment between your breath, where you fill up fully in your inhale and you just hold for a second before coming into that exhale and releasing. And perhaps as we close off the outside world, we give ourselves a space to really listen to the subtleties, maybe of our bodies, of anywhere that we're gripping with our muscles. Can we just relax? Can we let ourselves be so big? And not necessarily that we physically have to stretch out, but that we allow ourselves to just feel into every corner of our being rather than trying to squish ourselves small so that nobody sees. Essentially, that you're allowed to be seen here. You're allowed to just be. That, to me, is peace. And it's something that we've created right here without having to go anywhere, by simply slowing down, feeling into the breath, and just reminding ourselves and giving ourselves permission for this hour, all to ourselves for whatever we need. If you need longer in this shape, please stay as long as you'd like. Join in when you're ready. We're just going to gently begin to bring the upper body back through center. You can uncross the ankles and walk your heels into the middle of your mat again. Might feel nice to draw your knees into your chest, bringing some space into your low back. Maybe you gently windshield wiper your knees side to side with feet planted. Just take your time to ease out of that last place. And we're just going to simply find Banana Asana on the other side. So when you're ready, bring yourself into the middle of your mat. Take that big, giant, full body stretch. And then this time, heels walk over to the left side. Hands and shoulders to follow with hips anchoring at center. And then begin to play with this shape. So whether you plant your left foot, knee bent up to the ceiling, or you cross one ankle over the other, arms maybe cactus, or you reach for opposite forearm, or even allow your left arm just to drape down beside your body. Like you are essentially creating space into the right side body. And notice as you breathe that the inhale begins to separate the muscles of your ribs, the area between your lower two ribs and your hip bones, extending all the way up towards your elbow and down the length of your leg. And as you exhale, that all of that expansion just begins to soften away, almost like it's melting. So that each breath offers you this place to expand into, to lengthen, to reach. And it also offers you a place just to come back to center, come back to home. Know if any of these poses today are a little bit too long, they're a little bit too deep, you can always ease out of sensation. You can even move just a couple of millimeters closer towards center. Or you can take a full break and come back when you're ready. So just remembering that this is your practice. And I think there's a whole lot of peace in that freedom to just choose. To be at peace with whatever your choice is. And I think that happens when we come from a place of authenticity. That we're choosing what we truly need in these moments. We're listening to our bodies so that even if there is a little bit of discomfort, we can still be at peace in that moment. We can allow ourselves to sink in despite any distractions around or even within of our own body sensations or thoughts. A reminder that you're just still free to breathe through it all. And that you don't have to have an answer, doesn't have to be perfect. You just simply have to breathe. And when you notice that things start to show up that are catching your attention, words, ideas, feelings, try not to push them out, but just simply acknowledge. Notice what it is that is showing up. And then respond by just taking a giant inhale breath. Holding at the top, and then exhaling out, just letting that go. And you'll notice as you just continue to breathe through these emotions, through these narratives, that those too start to fade. And a pretty good recognition of if you have gone too deep is if after 5 or 10 breaths, you notice that body sensation or worry not fading from the physical posture. And you just simply shift slightly to bring yourself out of as much depth so that you can actually just be more present and that you can offer yourself that peace. That we don't have to escape from where we are in order to find it. That we actually have to dig deeper into that moment. That we have to allow ourselves to be truly immersed and to go within to that internal environment and allow yourself just to leaning into whatever you're feeling and then allowing your breath to guide you. Notice anywhere that you've brought in tension or it feels like you're resisting this pose or this moment. And can you just soften into those places? Grips of your fingertips, allowing your jaw to soften, eyelids to rest heavy. That'll be hard to find peace when we feel that we are at war with ourselves. And so to let go of that fight of having to control, just allowing yourself to surrender. So just float along with the waves of your breath. Know that you are free to just take this breath by breath. Over the next few breaths, we'll make our way back through to center. So you can slowly begin to extend your legs out, crisscross or uncross the legs. Walk your heels back through center and then upper body as well. And again, if there's any movement that you're craving, windshield wipering your knees side to side, taking knees into your chest. We were in those for a little bit longer today, so it might just feel a little sticky as you come out. Just allowing some really gentle movement to wash out some of that stubbornness of the joints and muscles. And then when you're ready, gather yourself onto your right hand side in fetal position. Allow your head to rest heavy into your right bicep, cradling your body. Take a couple of deep breaths with no rush to have to be anywhere, just at peace with this moment. When you're ready, you can use your left hand to press yourself up, walking towards the top of your mat. Land into a tabletop. Shoulders stack over top of your wrists, hips over top of your knees. Now this can be a really nice place to add in some movement if you're feeling especially sticky today. Take all the time you need to explore. We're gonna meet into child's pose in the next few breaths, but there's absolutely no rush, and especially being in the safety of your own home, that you really do get to choose. When you meet in child's pose, bring your big toes together to touch knees wide, and then sit your hips back onto your heels, hands root forward and forehead to the ground. Now if this feels like a lot for your knees, you can always take pillows or something soft like a blanket just behind the backs of your knees for your hips to sit on. And then sometimes that'll just help to take some of the pressure out of that joint. If it feels like a lot to be all the way down on the ground, you can also take that pillow underneath your chest or your belly, almost like you're just giving it a hug. This is my absolute favorite restorative yin pose. And what you really want to focus on when you first land in this is allowing your tailbone to drop towards your heels. So you're getting this really nice rounding of the low back, but that it's soft and relaxed. So you're not forcing yourself to be in this shape, that all of the muscles along either side of the spine, the quadratus lumborum, or QL in particular, is given this chance just to rest. Once again, come back to the sounds of your breath. Allow this to be a really nurturing rhythm to just fall into line with. And one of my favorite breathing exercises or pranayama Some of you might know as box breath or kumbhaka, so equal parts breath. So I'm just going to guide you through a little bit of it here. You're welcome to join in, and you're also welcome to weave this through your practice. If you ever just need a moment to hold some space and to just focus on this moment. So you're just going to empty out whatever breath you're holding on to. And then take an inhale breath through your nose for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top in fullness for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out slowly through your mouth for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in emptiness for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Hold at the top in fullness, but soften into your shoulders and your face. Exhale out through your mouth, let your body get heavy. And then hold in emptiness, still soft. One more round, inhale through your nose, fill all the way up to this expansion, and then hold at the top. Exhale out completely, and hold. Take a giant breath in, and exhale, let that go. Just allow your breathing to come back to its natural rhythm. And so box breath is really beautiful for just giving us space to relax into the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest of the body, to remind ourselves that we're free to just be here. We don't have to be prepared for anything or ready to act, that there's peace in this moment. Gently, you can just begin to walk your hands back up and towards your body and lift your hips away from your heels. And you can take out your props or blocks over to the front of your mat, actually. And then you're going to shift yourself onto your seat. So you're facing the right side of your mat. All right. From half butterfly, so you're going to keep your right heel in towards the center line. It might even slide towards the inner thigh of your extended left leg. And then bring yourself some props. So props to either the outer edge of your left leg, or it could be to the inner edge. We're going to come into a little bit of lateral flexion. Okay. Now, if this feels like a lot for hips or for your right knee, you can always take a pillow underneath your right knee as well, or you can sit up onto a pillow. All right, inhale breath, take a giant reach of the arms out and up. And then as you exhale, begin to hinge over towards your left side. So allow your left elbow to come down onto that prop and right arm reaches over. Okay, now this position will be really nice for the first little bit, but after a while, it's gonna feel like a lot to hold. So for options, you can always bend into your left elbow to drape your cheek on so that your left cheek or side of your head lands into your left hand. If this feels like a lot for the right arm, at any point, you can always take your right hand to your hip, or you can just allow your right arm to drape alongside your body or rest into the center of your lap. You're looking for this deep lengthening through the side body, especially into the hips. So if you notice your right hip wants to lift up, try to root back down through the sits bone so that if you wiggle around when you're back at center, you'll feel those two little bony knobs. Those are your sits bones. So when you've peeled over, that you can actually feel your right sits bone rooting down. You could also play with interlacing your hands behind your head if you wanted a little bit more support of that right arm. Just take this breath by breath, knowing that if your arm starts to get tired or numb, you just gently move it elsewhere. Especially if this does feel like a lot for your body, can you ease back even slightly? Give yourself some more space to breathe, because what's actually going to take you into the depth is the movement of the breath and the expansion of the rib cage out through the side body, rather than trying to force ourselves down and lengthening that way, that we actually get a lengthen as we breathe in, and it's a slight lift up, and as we exhale and sink back in. And just close into your eyes so you can let go of those distractions of the external environment and allow yourself just to feel. Feel into any resistance, any frustration. Feel into any of the, I could be doing this, or I should be doing that. And then just take a couple of deep breaths and rinse out. And then feel back into whatever is coming up and just continue to respond by breathing. And essentially you're creating these new neural pathways of the body that when we would normally come into stress, that we actually just remind ourselves it's okay to breathe, that we can be in this place of restriction, of resistance, that we can be in this place that's uncomfortable, and that we're free to just breathe there. Let's take 5 more breaths on this side. See if you can soften into your shoulders, allow them to slide away from your ears, and relaxing into the muscles of your face. And then take your time to lift up. So you can always use your hands to help press yourself back up. You know, one of my favorite ways to just come out of this is actually a rock star pose. So if you do have a prop underneath your right knee, you can take that out. Planting into your right hand, just lift up onto your shin. Send your hips forward, reach your left fingertips over towards the back of your mat, so opposite of your left foot, and then you can just slowly come all the way back down. All right. Scoop up your extended legs. You're bending into your left knee, and then cross your left knee over top of your right. Okay, shoelace pose. Pinky side edges of your feet will come towards the mat. Knees will stack upon one another, but it's okay if there's a little bit of space. You can always take a pillow into that space to prop up so that you're not trying to hold your left knee up. Now, if this isn't available, there are other options. You can always just play with a seated pose in this, or you can also extend the bottom leg out straight. I'm going to move into a little bit of a twisted variation from this. So still working to that right side. Move your props so they're a little bit more at a 45-degree angle from the body. So they're not off to the side and they're not in front. They're somewhere in between. And instead of folding forward in this shape, you're actually going to fold slightly over to the left. So begin to turn your body so that your heart squares over towards your left thigh, and then walk your hands out in front of you. So for some of you, that might just be landing onto forearms. Some of you may drape all the way down. Once again, you'll notice that your right hip wants to lift up, but with the weight of the left leg, that should help to keep it rooted down. Now, if you want to take this more into the lateral edge of the body, just take your prop more off to the left rather than in front. When you are in this shape, just make sure there's no pulling of the knees. So even if you're in a cross-legged position, you're just taking that fold over top of your left thigh, and it'll get you into some of the muscles that run into the glutes, into TFL, all that side body that does a lot of work to hold us up throughout the day. Okay. Check in with where you've landed and whether there's room for you to be here. And what I mean by that is there room for you to breathe? Is there room for you to notice your environment and to be fully immersed in it? Is there room for you to just move through the rushing emotions and thoughts? Or on the opposite end of this, if there isn't room, it might feel like you're trapped or you're stuck, that you need to get out. If you're feeling that, ease out of some of the sensation or intensity and make sure that you can land with your breath again. So even if you're just upright in this, that's okay. To just make sure that you're still holding that space for yourself. Because ultimately, we didn't land on our mats tonight to be at war with ourselves. That never was the intention. So make sure that you're still able to cultivate room, that you have space to be here, that you're not trying to get somewhere else or get out of something, that you simply are given that gift of presence. I think this really speaks to cultivating peace with ourselves. That the outside world will continue to change and we won't have control over that. But what we can find is peace with who we are in those moments, with what we've been through, with what we are going through at that time, to still be able to find peace. That we might not have it all figured out, but we can still hold peace with that. That it's okay to be where we are. And I think this really is a loving gesture to know that we're not perfect, to know that we're all working into something and away from something else, but that we're free to just be in that moment. Gently begin to bring yourself back in through center. So take your time walking your hands up in towards your body. Okay, from your shoelace, just slide your left foot in so it plants, so you're not twerking on the knee, and then turn and twist over to the right and just fold for a moment. So you're taking your forehead towards the ground. Bottom leg can be bent or straight. And then on your inhale, come all the way back up through center. Okay, untangle your legs, planting your feet out wide in front of you, and then just gently drop your knees to the right and to the left. Okay. When you're ready, just transition your props to the other side, setting up for half dragonfly. This time, right leg extends out. Prop can always come underneath your left knee. And you can take your pillows or blocks to the inner edge of your leg, or you can take it to the outer. Outer is going to be a little bit more of that lengthening. Inner will be a little bit less. And then when you're ready, take that nice big stretch of the body so you're lengthening through the spine, and then just simply begin to pour over. Right elbow lands onto your prop, or you can even take this onto your leg if you want. This can help to hold up the side body. Okay. And then you can always bend into your right elbow to rest your cheek or forehead. If after a little bit of time in this pose, left arm extended doesn't feel so good, you can always bend into the elbow and take it to your head, or you can just gently drape your body either hand onto hip or thigh, or you can just allow your hand to rest into your lap. So wherever you have chosen to land, check in that there's space for you. That we're essentially carving out a home for ourselves here on our mat. So making sure that there's room for you to be within that home. That we can find this internal peace, that it doesn't depend on anything outside of us, that it's something that we already have. And we just find by simply creating internal space. So letting go of the things that don't serve us so that we can step into the ones that do in those moments. That we're not trying to fix the things that we can't, that we start to learn how to live with the things that we can't fix, that we learn how to cultivate a space for ourselves amidst any chaos, any destruction, any change, that there's still room for us there. Whether that's within the confines of our own mind or the physical realm of our world. That reminder to your body that there is always space for you. Whenever you notice your mind wandering, just invite yourself to land with the breath. That you don't have to give your full attention to anything outside of this moment. That you give yourself permission to just feel. Because peace with who we are includes the ups and the downs. It includes feeling not okay, that it's okay to not be okay. That's peace. To find contentment with where we're at along this journey. And it so closely relates to one of the foundations of yoga that we talked about before on here, of santosha, of contentment. That if we can find this contentment within ourselves and where we are in this moment, that we have this power to endure whatever surrounds us. Whatever narratives we've made up along the way. Whatever challenges or roadblocks show up. When we find this peace within, it really is a superpower to overcome the things that we say we can't. The things that feel so impossible, the walls that we never thought we'd be able to climb over. Breath by breath, we start to see those walls crumble. And not because of external forces, but because of the internal. Take 5 more full breaths on this side. And see if you can just soften into your body. Still allowing your left hip to root down, but finding some more space to breathe. Now, if you like that transition from the first side, you're welcome to take it here. You gently release your right hand down and slowly walk yourself up. You can just stay as you are and you can lean back, or if you want a bit of a bigger stretch, left hand plants beside your hip, come up onto your left shin, reach right fingertips over, squeeze into the glutes and the shoulders, and then you'll slowly make your way all the way back down onto your seat. shoelace on the other side. Scoop up your extended right leg. Cross right knee over top of your left. Okay, so that your shoulders are still stacked over your hips for the first little bit. And then when you are ready, just beginning to turn your body over towards your right thigh and walking your hands out in front of you. So you're gonna feel this a little bit more into the right hip, but you may also get that lateral stretch through the left side. Allow your heart to face down towards the ground so that there is a slight opening, a slight rounding along the side body, but you're also coming into a slight twist. Notice if your hips want to lift up, then you can always walk yourself in a little bit closer and just allow your body to drape. Okay, so wherever you've landed, know that that's enough. And that if you need to shift, you can always straighten out that bottom leg and move over to the right. Or you can just come into a simple cross-legged place and you're still gonna get that same lengthening through the hips and through the side body. I think when we picture peace, it's all of these incredible elements coming together to create this serene and ideal vista for us to land in. I think we forget that peace can even just be seeing the light pouring through the cracks. That when we feel stuck, when we feel trapped, when we feel uncertain, or the darkness of fear and those emotions below the line starts to cave in on us, that light will always have a way of coming through the cracks. And when we start to let this light pour in, it's not that we're telling ourselves that everything's going to work out perfectly or that it's going to be easy. It's just this reminder that even here there is joy to be experienced. That even here we're okay to just be. We're content to be not okay and to feel into all these things and to just sit with that. That we don't have to be afraid of essentially 50% of the emotions that we have. We don't have to be fearful of our thoughts. That there's just something that we can simply begin to breathe through and know that they're just momentary. And that how we feel in this moment, it won't always be the same. Life was never meant to be lived in snapshots. It was meant to be moved through fluidly. I truly believe that we're not meant to live this one challenge to the next accomplishment, to the next box to be checked off. That we were meant to experience from top of our head to tips of our toes. We were meant to feel into both the ups and downs, the good and bad, and to move through it. And essentially that each breath you take is showing your resilience to move through. Even when you don't feel strong, or you don't feel certain, that next breath is a reminder of your growth and your ability to endure. So as we come towards the end of this pose, allow yourself to just linger with your breath. Maybe even sending some gratitude to your breath for bringing you through, when you look back at all the things that you have overcome, to be in this moment, that's enormous. And I'm sure that each one of those felt like we'd never make it through to the other side, that we'd get lost within. But now here you are. And so to remember that even in these moments when it feels like a lot, it feels like too much, to just simply breathe. And remember that this breath won't always feel the same. Gently, you can begin to walk your hands back up and towards your body. Coming to a tall seat, untangle your legs as you lean your hands back, walking your feet out in front, and just gently drop your knees over side to side. In this next pose, there's a couple of options. I would encourage you to try the first option. Even if you have the flexibility to go into the second, the first option is really going to be nice for your spine, which is the intention of this. So you can just gently heel toe your feet together. Turn yourself once again to the front of your mat. And then take a really deep bend into your knees, so that as you begin to fold over your legs, your belly will rest onto your thighs. Now this is where your props will come in. Your feet will be about at least hip width distance. You can take them wider if you like. And you're gonna take your props in between your legs, so that when you fold, you have a soft place to land your forehead. So as you begin to drape forward, tuck your chin to your chest so that you're lengthening out the back of the neck, and then allow your forehead to rest onto whatever props you have available. So whether you're up really high or you're draped quite low, the intention is to round through the back. So think about even a slight tucking of your tailbone down as you almost fold in towards yourself. So you're looking even for the shoulders to separate, still keeping shoulders away from ears so they're not hiking up towards the top of the head, but that there's almost just this draping from the sides, from the middle of your spine all the way to the sides of your body. Like whatever you're holding tension in the spine, in the center, is just beginning to drip off of your body and onto your mat. Maybe any of that tension you hold from the shoulders begins to run down your neck and off the top of your head. That you're just allowing breath by breath tension to melt away. Now for those of you, if this doesn't feel like any sensation, you're not getting any release, you can always take your props out, just sliding them off to the side or in front, and you can drape, just hanging your head heavy, or you are welcome to extend the legs and take a caterpillar fold, but make sure that you're not holding yourself up with your body to resist the guidance of gravity, that you really are coming to this full place of surrender. Allowing your body to rest heavy. You might notice that with each inhale breath you take, your body rises up slightly, and with each exhale that you sink in. Always, always, always a steady rhythm of the breath, walking you through. And every time that you allow your body to get heavier, you're allowing your muscles to relax. That they don't have to hold you up. That they can begin to soften all the way to the edges of your body. That you feel rooted and supported by the mat and the ground beneath you. And all you have to do is breathe. that the stillness and space offers you, and give yourself permission to take it. Whatever it is that you need from yourself to hold that close. And then also offer yourself permission to let go of anything you don't need in this moment. You are safe. You are supported. You are enough. That right here, you don't need anything outside of yourself. And it's okay for it to be a little bumpy. But this is your reminder that there will always be peace. To come out of this shape, take your time, especially if your legs are straight. You're just going to walk your hands alongside your body like you're stacking your vertebrae one at a time. We're moving to Shavasana, so you can take any props that you would like to bring with you. And planting into your feet, just slowly lower yourself all the way down. Now it might be nice to take that full body stretch and slight arc through the low back, or you might just curl and round in and massage out. Okay, take any final movements your body is craving, or if you need another final pose, you're of course welcome to find that. And then when you're ready, just simply begin to extend out. Take up as much space as your body is craving. And just start to dive deeply into your breath, almost selfishly breathing. That you are almost taking more breath, more air than you actually need. That you're giving yourself this exorbitant amount of oxygen. And then you're completely letting go of any tension. Okay. That often we just breathe kind of a halfway point where we're not even breathing fully into the belly. So really allow yourself that gift of the breath to selfishly sip in a whole bunch of air and then to completely let go. And to know that it's not selfish to look after yourself, to give yourself what you need, to say no to the things that take away your freedom or take away your peace. The things that distract you or keep you away from yourself. That the key to finding peace within is to create enough space for it to land. That we won't be able to find peace if we're already full to the brim. That we have to let go of a couple of things. We have to distance ourselves from the ones calling all of our attention. And as we just breathe, you'll begin to cultivate exactly what it is that you need. So much love, so much gratitude to each and every one of you. I'm just going to leave you here in Shavasana, truly, truly, truly from the bottom of my heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you so much to all of you for just being here with me and continuing to show up. I love you all. Have a wonderful rest of your night.